Okay, moving on to question 5. 5a. The square root of 800 is the same as the square root of 8 times the square root of 100. The reason why I took out 2 zeros is because you must have an even amount of 0 for square root. And the square root of 100 is 10. The square root of 8, if you look at the top, you see that the square root of 8 is roughly equals to 2.828. And 2.828 times 10 is just 28.28. You just move the decimal places 1 to the right when you times a number by 10. B, the square root of 8,000. This is the square root of 80 times the square root of 100. Square root of 80 is 8.944. Again, I just got this number from the top. We were told that the square root of 80 is 8.944 times the square root of 100 is 10. So now we can move the decimal point 1 to the right. C, square root of 80,000. This will be the square root of 8 times the square root of 1 with 4 zeros. Square root of 8 is 2.828. The square root of 1 with 4 zeros is 1 with 2 zeros. Now we can move the decimal point 2 units to the right. And that's our answer, 288.8. D, the square root of 800,000. This is going to be the square root of 80 times the square root of 1 with 4 zeros. Square root of 80 is 8.944. And the square root of 1 with 4 zeros is 1 with 2 zeros. Now we move the decimal point 2 to the right. We get 894.4. The square root of 0.8. I need to add an extra 0. So now I can say this is 80 over 100. We must have an even amount of decimal points or decimal places for square root. Otherwise, you can't really simplify them. So now we can do the numerator and denominator individually. Square root of 80 is 8.944. And the square root of 100 is 10. When we divide something by 10, we move the decimal point 1 to the left. F, square root of 0.08 equals to the square root of 8 over 100. So this becomes square root of 8 over the square root of 100. The square root of 8 is 2.828, and the square root of 100 is 10. So now we can move the decimal point 1 to the left. G, square root of 0.008. We can add an extra 0. Now this becomes the square root of 80 divided by 1 with 4 zeros. The square root of 80 is 8.944. The square root of 1 with 4 zeros is 100. Now we can move the decimal point 2 to the left. Right, the decimal point was initially here, you move it 2 to the left. H, the square root of 0.0008 equals the square root of 8 over 1 with 4 zeros. The square root of 8 is 2.828. And the square root of 1 with 4 zeros is 1 with 2 zeros. Now, once again, we just move the decimal point 2 to the left. Okay, initially it was here, we moved the decimal point 2 to the left because you're dividing something with 2 zeros. Okay, that's it for question 5. I'll see you in question 6.